Welcome in, my Ashwings, to the next installment of the A to Z series for Silver Age. Today we are looking at the next assassin up on the list, which is Arakni Solitary Confinement. If you don't know anything about Arakni Solitary Confinement, this is what most of you might know as Slippy, but this is Slippy without the Chaos talent, and also their ability just works a little bit differently compared to Slippy's, in which only Arakni's first stealth attack each turn gets go again. So you don't actually give this ability to your opponent like you would in Classic Constructed. So it's a little bit more beneficial. You start at 19 life, so you're a little bit less than your opponent, but you have a lot of awesome go again potential. And of course, this also leads with that feint strategy of send something at your opponent. They block a lot of it. You say, okay, no reactions, move on to the next one, and then send a lot of damage that way too. So taking a look at the deck here, we're running a pretty normal suite, I would say. We've got the Blade Beckoner Helm and the Blade Beckoner Boots. These will be pretty good into Ira, as well as the Danger Digits, which are going to be great for flicking this at a target to mark them if we know we're going to be getting over their defenses with something like a Mark of the Black Widow. And then Garland of Spring is going to get us a free resource to be able to send some of our reactions for no cost, pretty much. It's a little bit upfront, but it is important to at least have that floating resource should you need it. And then we are running the Mark of the Huntsman and a Spider's Bite. The Spider's Bite is the one you're going to usually be sending at your opponent, and the Mark of the Huntsman is not. But the Mark of the Huntsman is going to be your flick target. So if you are sending something that with, if your opponent is marked, do X thing when this hits, making sure to keep that specifically for the mark target is going to be pretty good. As for the main deck, it's pretty much a lot of really good stealth cards that you'll find throughout Hunted or Outsiders, even Part the Mistveil. Art of Desire Body is going to be a pretty good one here. This is just on hit, banish the top card of their deck. If it banishes a red card, you draw a card and gain a life. So love to see Art of Desire Body on there. Of course, Bonds of Attraction, red and blue. The red is going to threaten more damage at your opponent, and also, of course, those on hits to gain life. The blues are just really hard breakpoints to get through, and when your opponent's out of armor, they're going to have to give you a card, even if you're just sending one blue Bonds of Attraction. Same goes for Double Trouble here. We're running far more reactions in the deck because there are more reactions that care about stealth cards than there are ones for like Contract, for example. So we do have the ability to turn on the ability of Double Trouble here to give it another +2, which is going to help get over our opponent's defenses. Infect, great starter, right? You send 3, your opponent doesn't want to take a Blood Rot, so they're going to block that card. You can, of course, pump it up to, with a spike with Blood Rot if you really want to, bring it up to 6, and then hit your opponent with some awesome value there and giving them 2 Frostbite, or 2 Blood Rot Pox. We are running a Lair of the Spider. This is mainly just to, again, attempt to mark them in a defense reaction. I like having this defense reaction on board. You're going to see a lot more go again, I think, than you are not. And so worst case scenario, this blocks for 3 on 1 attack, and you don't mark your opponent. But if your opponent is sending multiple 3-power head jabs, this is going to be a great thing to block and then also mark them for other abilities. Mark of the Black Widow is kind of your key card here. Mark of the Black Widow is going to allow us to rip cards from our opponent's hand. Even if you're just sending this point of value at your opponent for 3, they're going to have to respect to block it so long as you have Danger Digits up, because Danger Digits will allow you to mark your opponent by hitting them with Mark of the Huntsman, and then Mark of the Black Widow will hit them, banishing a card from their hand, which makes their hand a lot worse. Mark of the Prey. This is a nice go again card to start with because, again, we don't really have daggers that will mark on hit without destroying said daggers. And while we do have recursion abilities with cards like Pick Up the Point, Mark the Prey is going to be another way for you to just go, okay, cool, if this hits, I'm going to mark you, which doesn't seem like a very big on hit, but it is going to be important. We are playing the Orb-Weaver Spinneret. This is just a great way for when you do flick that dagger, you're going to get something like a Graphene Chelicera back. Graphene Chelicera is, in fact, a stealth attack. So if you attack with a Graphene Chelicera as your first attack, it will get go again, regardless of if your opponent is marked or not. So that's pretty good to see there. Again, Pick Up the Point. This is to recur any of our daggers. If we want to recur back our Mark the Huntsman, we can, as long as we have an empty slot. So we can always go ahead and flick the Mark of the Huntsman. And then if we see this before we see this, we can go ahead and get back our dagger to then just swing it. And then Mark Orb Weaver is pretty much just a good +3 on any of your stealth stuff. Razor Reflex, all of our stuff is 0 cost in the deck pretty much for attacks. So Razor Reflex is going to help us get over our opponent's stuff. Razor's Edge, great 0 for 3 pump for reactions. Spike with Blood Rot. On hit, make a Blood Rot Pox token. This is really good, especially if your opponent's on a red line build. Stains of the Red back. Again, if your opponent is marked, this is really important to do because you can send something like a Mark the Prey with Go Again. If it doesn't hit, then you can send a Mark the Black Widow. If it does, or if you send a Mark of the Black Widow and you have the danger digits up, you can attack with Mark of the Black Widow, flick the danger digits, mark them, and then also play Stains of the Red back after that mark is resolved. And this will give this +3 and Go Again, which means you can send another card at the end of that chain link if you have another card like an Infect or a Art of Desire Body to threaten another on hit over the course of it, which is pretty good. We also have 2 sides of the blade. It's a great way to pump up your daggers if you're just able to attack with daggers that turn, or target attack action with stealth gets +3 and when it hits mark hero. So pretty good to have. We're running Yellow Shred because sometimes our opponents like to block, and this will help them block for less. Springboard Somersault, great 0 for 4 defense reaction if it's an arsenal, so always a good thing to keep. Art of Desire Mind, again, banish off the top, try to get a blue, gain life. Reaper's Call, this is how we're going to mark our opponent in the reaction step, because sometimes they just come in with nothing, and they say no reactions, and so you can just go ahead and discard this Reaper's Call to mark your opponent and then have this have an actual on hit. There's a lot of mark abilities, and the mark stuff really only matters in regards to Mark of the Black Widow or Stains of the Red back. But it is good to essentially threaten that mark because sometimes people take that mark status a little too serious, and it ends up being something that they are afraid of for quite some time. In our inventory, we do have Death Touch, Frailty Trap, and Spike with Frailty. I would like to run Spike with Frailty and Frailty Trap into ninjas usually, or warriors, because it just gives them -1 to their stuff. But Death Touch is a popper and also isn't too bad of a card to play into heroes that are maybe don't block as well, because you can send an Art of Desire Body, and then if this is an arsenal, you can just send the Death Touch at your opponent. It's a great way to kind of follow up that turn. I thought about some of these stealth cards probably being contract cards, so I can play a 3, pump it, and then play a 4 to give some kind of value as a chain ender. But that's all for testing. Right now, I kind of want to see what we're looking like here. We have AB2 in the back here because we are running a very red line heavy list, so not really going to be doing a ton of arcane damage or arcane barrier, but it's still something that we want to have in the off chance that we're trying to prevent damage. So yeah, so that's pretty much it here. Let's go ahead and take Solitary Confinement into Dalsharku and see how they play out. All right, our opponent here is a Viserai. So we're probably going to go first here. I think out of these, I'll probably just get rid of the boots and keep the headpiece. And then we can go ahead. I think this might actually be a situation in which this might matter more, but we'll see here. Let me go ahead and add this in here. We'll remove the lair of the spider, although they're going to have Go Again. So you know what? We're not going to do that. We'll just go ahead and send it here. All right, cool. So we will do exactly that. We're going to send this. We're going to pitch this. Send a Spider's Bite. We'll see them block a little bit more. Now we could do this, which is pretty good, to pump that up by a little bit more. But I think we'll use it on our Art of Desire Body instead. And maybe just Arsenal the Razor Reflex. Yeah. Get this. Then we will mark them. That'll be fine. We got a red, so we got to gain a life, draw a card. Now, I don't think we should do this yet. I guess we should send it, right? I mean, rip a card from them in this situation, right? Still do something. Yeah, because they were going to give us more anyway. So, and I was not going to be able to get a card from their hand. So they still stay marked, which is awesome for me. Keep a card in Arsenal, pass. All right, so they got a Malefic Incantation in their next hand. We got a Rune Blood and a Mauve out of their hand there, so they are on Scar for a Scar, so we're expecting that too. They're fully pitching into this, so just 4 damage. I think we do this. We have Double Trouble as our thing here, so this is kind of a bad hand. I'm not gonna lie. We can theoretically give this and then pass to give this. And I think this hand is actually just going to be... I'm going to have to pop Garland here because I'm going to have to send this Double Trouble. So if they give me 6 here, we're chilling. Razor's Edge. And then maybe I guess I should do Mark. Yeah. That's good. Okay. So now they're still marked. We don't have anything else we can really send at them, so we're just going to hold out for the best here. Arcane Cussing. They probably have a Rune Rager Swarm in hand, if I were to guess. Okay, a Rune Blood Incantation. So they've got 3 Rune Chants up now. We can't really get rid of all the Rune Chants here. A Vantage Point. Overpower? Interesting. So this will give them 3 Rune Chants. They will be able to play Sutcliffes, but they can't follow it up with anything. So I'm just going to say skip to the Rune Chants. I'll give them more Rune Chants. This is 7 Overpower. No direct on hit, though. I think we might be able to, like, probably really kill them next turn. Maybe there's a card that which we don't want to use. Maybe Orb Weaver is the one we don't really want to do anything with. So maybe we just block out with Orb Weaver right now, because that doesn't do anything for our hand. Yeah, sure. Let's send a Mark the Prey. They have no arsenal. And we can just bump it to 9. I guess reduced to Rune Chant is the only thing I'm like super worried about, but yeah. Reduced to Rune Chant. Do they have another one in their hand? Okay. So we still get all of this value. They're still marked. They have 7 Rune Chants, which is a lot. And we do have a blue, so we can at least get rid of some of them. But they have a Blood Rot Pox token, so they're going to take 2 damage here. Our turn can very much so just be pick up the point, mark the Black Widow, flick. Really, we should probably mark the Black Widow, this, and then flick. Condemn to Slaughter. Destroy something to destroy an aura. Okay. Runehold Release. They're sending 1 thing at me. Okay. So this is 8 Rune Chants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Rune Chants and 6 physical. So if I take 8, I think we just kind of have to play this one out, unfortunately. Yeah. So if I take 4 here and they don't kill me, I mean, they have to give me like their whole hand next turn. They only have 2 rune chance. They'll have 3 rune chance. I should give another card here probably, but I'm not gonna. We will play Mark of the Black Widow. Like, they're going to have to give me 6. I don't know why they're not giving me 6. I guess if they have a reduced to rune chant, right, then that's the one, right? So, pump it to 6. And now they die because they don't have a way to block that out. Yep. I mean, they had to know that I had to have it, but this is a pretty good example of like what you need to do here. And so unless this is a calming breeze or something, which I doubt it is, we're just going to flick this dagger at our opponent and win. Good shit. Good stuff. Good game. So that assassin plays out a lot better. Again, aggro kind of really does a lot in this game. And so when you're able to send that kind of damage at your opponent, I mean, you'll see here, like we threatened 10 damage on our first turn, 9 damage, 9 damage, 7 damage. Our opponent threatened more overall than us, but we kind of just took that damage because we knew that they were going to block out, or they were not going to block. And so because they weren't going to block, we just got to take full advantage of it. Going down to 1 is difficult, but in these formats that are younger formats, going down to 1 is like, okay, you're going to have a turn, I'm going to have a turn. There's no way we're going another turn after this. So let's just go ahead and send everything we got at each other and hope for the best. And yeah, it ended up working out pretty well. So that's it for me, though. Pretty much all capped out here. But thank you all so much for watching today's game for Arakni Solitary Confinement. It means a lot. If you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already for more Silver Age content. And of course, I hope you all continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. And I will see you all in our next installment of the A to Z series for Silver Age.